back to Momentous Struggle, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. On this week's episode, well, Aubrey's back, and we don't really know what we're going to talk about other than just talking about some randomness, and so we're just going to have fun with it and kind of catch up with everybody, because over the last couple weeks, Aubrey, you just haven't really been around. I've had multiple people on that weren't you, so yeah, let's get back into it and see what you're doing. How you doing?
Oh, I'm excited, dear listeners. It took nearly 20 minutes, but I convinced Todd to let the ADHD baby run the bus. Oh boy, I don't know how to drive a bus. Is the wheel up front? Is it in the back? I don't know, but we're gonna do this. So I'm excited. I'm ready. I worked all day. I have a rotating shift, so it's Saturday. We're recording, and I did Pokemon Club today, Todd, and I had not one but two ADHD babies, very young, trying to learn the Pokemon card game. I literally had to tell a kid, "Are you trying to grab my stuff out of my hands? Stop doing that." And he literally responded non-verbally by reaching and trying to grab cards out of my hand. That
That
was
is
his response.
That's fantastic. Actually, I 100% approve. One of these days, like you happen to have Pokemon Club like every day that my 8-year old just happens to be out of town, so I can't take her. So as I like, or she has some major activity, so I need to sit there and get her over to Pokemon Club because she actually wants to play. And I'm quite positive she has ADHD, but we just don't bother to get her diagnosed because we just don't want to. Like she is functioning right now, so we're not even bothering with it. But yeah, no, I that's one of those where no, she wants to go and play. So I need to get her over there. But she's actually my wife, my youngest daughter, or my middle daughter, my oldest daughter, had her last football game that she is cheering at because she's on the varsity cheer team. So I had to stay here and be solo parenting, being dad, while my wife decided to go up to our cabin and our other two kids. Well, partially she had to, because basically it's getting close to winter and we need to make sure that we have enough firewood up there, and she loves using the chainsaw, so she's going up to our cabin and going and kicking some butt on some trees with some chainsaws, and like getting the property kind of like pre-ready for winter. I know the chainsaw thing threw you off. I can see you already losing your mind. What's going on?
Wait, wait, Todd. Your wife likes taking a chainsaw to the trees, going
Oh
willy nilly.
yeah.
Like I have met your wife. Oh, I don't. That'd be weird if I hadn't. But like, she is so quiet and unassuming, and now I'm having this image of her just going, "Brr, brr, 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 let's
Oh yeah.
go."
Yes. Yeah, there's like the inner beast comes out. You give her a chainsaw, and we have multiple size chainsaws up at the property because it's like I said, my cabin is completely off grid. It's on 40 acres. We got 1600 square foot cabin. So in order to heat it, we have a wood burning stove is all that we have up there. I mean, I think we have like some small space heaters, but the primary heat source is basically a wood burning stove. So we have to sit there and every year like make sure that we're restocking the wood that we have. So it's that time of year where it's like, okay, some of the trees have died throughout the summer. Go and get some of that some of that wood that's died off. And yeah, so she's doing the first run of it. I'll probably be going up there for another long weekend somewhere around November, and get some chainsaw action going. But yeah, that's a fun time, man. We go out there and chainsaw up a bunch, and then when we drink our nights away, and then we wake up the next day and go back at it and chainsaw some more. So yeah, it's good times.
Wow. I so despite having grown up in a small farm town, I'm very much a city boy. So I'm just sitting here going, this is wild to me. Like, wait, is there like a market? Like, okay, so at my library, we're talking about getting a laser engraver in our new makerspace that we have. And so we have these like chunks of wood, like I mean like nicely cut
Mm-hmm.
into like slices, right? And so I'm just sitting here going, wait, Todd, like you have 40 acres of woodland, and apparently a more than willing wife who wants to like chop all this wood down. Like you got like a market there. Wait a minute, come on
That's
now.
I think a little more work than we want to do. We're willing to cut enough wood to keep our property going, but I don't think we're gonna sit there and cut enough to sit there and be like, let's make a profit. No, I don't. I think that's when we start getting like actual like big large machines going. No, that's not us. We'll sit there and have fun cutting down the trees that we need to, but we're not going to go beyond that.
Oh, okay, fine. I'm just trying to make Todd money, dear listeners. It's fine. It's fine. All right, we can move on. Sorry, I did not know this story. I learned something new in real time, so you all got to learn it with me.
Yeah, and of course it got us going down the rabbit hole that is Aubrey, so that's fine. We're good. But no, yeah, so it was pretty good. But before we get going on too much, I do want to give a quick shout out to all of our patrons. We ended up getting 2 new patrons since the last time I've probably made an announcement. I want to definitely give a shout out to Sarah Cruel, who has been very active in our Discord. Sarah Cruel just joined the podcast the Discord. I can't even talk. Has joined the Patreon, as well as Sheev. The two of them have always been active in our Discords, and I'm really happy that they actually decided to come out and support us a little bit more by becoming patrons. So, and if anyone wants to become a patron, you can definitely support us by doing so. The link will be in the show notes below. But you don't need to do that. I mean, that's something that like we definitely appreciate it. But if you want to continue to support us without becoming a patron, you can always just leave us a comment in the YouTube that we're doing here, or you can go ahead and just like, subscribe on there, or just give us a rating on whichever podcast platform you're listening to. So we do appreciate that as well.
Yeah, I am amazed every time you tell me that we have patrons at all. I mean, I like, I know we're trying. We are content creators with this podcast, but I'm always like, wait, people listen to us on multiple continents and they want to give us money? Like, have they listened to us?
I think the funny thing is, I think the ramblings that we have are like actually entertaining on a different level than just like, for the way that I look at it is, yes, you have like the, if you want to listen to like the competitive, high end competitive stuff, yeah, you have the podcasts out there, like hello there, like Zion's Finest. If you want like a mix
Rogue
of like
support.
the Rogue Support, yeah, but you know what? I mean, like, even listening at their last episode, like, Rogue Supports was great. It was all like, I think Accuser just kind of like got to take the wheel on that one, because it was all about painting and hobbying, which was a really good episode. I really enjoyed that
Yeah.
one. So I mean, so yes, they do competitive, but they also kind of jump into like some other aspects of it as well, which was really awesome. And we're kind of like that weird cousin that you don't really want to talk about, but still shows up, and you're like, yeah, but they're nice. They might be a
Hey,
little special, but we'll let them in the house anyway. That's us.
hey, come on. The Australians at least called us Yetis. Come on. Did you like?
I
I know
am
you
a
didn't
big
listen.
fat dude. I can't sit there and say that. I know. I am.
You know,
And I did live in Alaska, so we're good. Yeah, I mean, I fit that. I fit the profile.
I realized now that I didn't. Again, we're doing this in real time. I forgot to tell Todd about Red Mando's latest episode, where they did a tier list for the content creator. Okay, it wasn't really a tier list, but they were like talking about all of them and what you should focus on. We were the ones who were described as the American them, which I think is a compliment. And then some context was added. Specifically, we are the Yeti from Monsters Inc. You know, with the snow cones.
Yes.
Would you like
I,
some snow
I probably
cones?
would pee on a snow cone and say, hey, here's a lemon flavored one, and hand it to somebody.
Oh my god, I nearly spit out my drink. Todd, you can't say that like while I have my laptop in front of me.
Yep. Here is my lemon flavored flavored one. Go ahead.
Okay,
Try
okay.
it.
I am never eating a snow cone that you hand me ever in all of my days.
It's all
Nope,
right,
nope.
as long as,
Mm-mm.
yeah, like I said, I lived in Alaska. There was a very, very specific rule: you never eat the yellow snow, Aubrey.
Oh no! I learned that young. I came from the part of Nevada that had snow. I mean,
Yes,
like 6 inches of snow, but there was snow. And no, 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 no.
very well. But yeah, no. So I mean, I I appreciate that. We are, like I said, we kind of embrace the fact that we are not going to be those guys. But one of the biggest things that we like to do is, like, at least for me, and I think you're kind of the same. Like, we're all about having fun with a game, because you know what? It's a game. It's still fun. It's still something that you want to enjoy and have fun doing. Um, so that's the biggest part of it. I think for both of us is, we want to have fun, and we want the people around us to actually have a place to have fun with it. Now, On the flip side, I know, like, myself personally, like, I actually do create a very competitive space for the people that want to play it, especially like if you look at the MCP side, we have a state championship series that I run. I'm pretty excited about it. Like, 4 of the guys that are in the state championship series right now actually have already qualified for the invitational to LVO for MCP, with like a couple more people that'll probably get in on points. So it's like one of those things where we will create the competitive space if the community wants it, but at the same time, I'm all about, like, let's have fun, let's play, let's learn this game together and have fun playing the game. If you want the competitive thing, it's right over here and you can do that. If you don't, hey, let's go ahead and hang out over here and have fun. And I think that's kind of where we are, is like, hey, let's just hang out over here and have fun.
Yeah, I did the competitive thing with Magic. And you know
Mhm.
what? I did not like how it made me feel sometimes. I'll be perfectly honest, because I would get mad when I won. Because if I didn't get, like, if I just won cuz I got lucky, I'd be upset. I'd be upset that I won, Todd. That's not that's not a good mindset to have. And so, you know what? You know what I was most excited about recently? I guess it's not recently now. It's been a couple months, but again, you were talking about like the joy of the game and the fun. I went down to Maricopa, played in Mr. E's. He has a monthly
Mhm.
standard showdown. I mean, I think they're talking about moving to Premier, but for now, it's been standard showdowns. And uh, you know what my favorite part of the whole day was, and I actually did pretty well in the tournament. I'm pretty sure this was the day when I beat Matt B. I mean, he was playing Ewoks. Don't worry, everyone. But I managed to squeak out a win there. But I found the 3 Star Wars action figures that I had as a kid. All 3 of them were on his shelf because he, aside from selling tabletop stuff and card games and board games, he also has like a small like vintage toy section in his shop. He has a little bit of everything. Like, he calls himself a comic book store, but really he's got a little bit of nerd stuff in dabbling in all of it. And I found all 3 of the ones I had as a kid. I had Luke in his X-wing outfit, Han in his Hoth gear, and then Leia, what was Leia? What was Leia? Now I got to look at it. Leia. Oh, it was Boosh Leia.
Oh,
I know.
nice.
So, sorry, everyone, if I get the name wrong. I don't remember how you say it. Whatever. Uh,
It depends on where you're at. Some people say Boosh, some say Bosch, whatever. It's Bosch, Boosh, Bosch, whatever. It's Leia in the bounty hunter outfit. Bounty hunter Leia.
yeah,
I
bounty
prefer
hunter
I
Leia.
prefer slave Leia, just because she looks really good in that outfit. But that's all right. I mean, like, whatever. To each their own.
Todd, it's Hut Slayer Leia. Hut Slayer
Whatever,
Leia.
whatever you want to call it. She's in that metal bikini and she looks good. That's all I'm saying.
Everyone, this might be Todd's second beer. It's all right. It's all right. It's fine. It's fine. We get loosey goosey. I'm still drinking water because I just got off work. I gotta. This is how I'm decompressing. Anyway, we'll see what happens with the rest of the night.
Yeah, this is gonna
Probably
be
gonna play
this is gonna
some
be an
video
interesting
games.
episode. I think this is gonna be a little off the cuff compared to what we normally do, but that's all right.
Wait,
I'm good with it.
wait. Don't we start off the cuff, Todd? What is
Yeah,
what
yeah.
is off the cuff of off the cuff turn into? Oh boy.
It's ADH baby Aubrey running the show, I think, is
Oh,
probably
that's
what
right.
happened.
I forgot I was in charge
You're in
already.
charge, yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. All right. So sorry. Back to my point is that I like to think that all of us love this game probably because we love Star Wars, right? Because if you don't like Star Wars, I don't think you're playing this game. So like there's lots of other tabletop options out there. I mean, MCP's right next door if you want a skirmish game that's from AMG and also fun. Like, you don't have to play Shatterpoint. So I'm assuming y'all like Star Wars. And
Yeah.
so that's what we try to do. Like, remind you all that Star Wars is for children and it's supposed to be whimsical and fun, and we're not supposed to be upset about things like fire in space or where someone got stabbed with a lightsaber. Oh, too soon. Oh boy. It's all
Not
right.
too soon
It's all
for me. I don't really care. I'm a little I'm just like, yeah, they died, whatever.
right. Or they didn't die. That was the problem.
Oh, so now to take you completely off the rails. I know this is not even Shatterpoint related. I
What?
was
Okay.
talking. I know. I'm at that point.
I'm supposed to be the one going off
I
tangent. All right.
know, but I saw something the other day. Or no, actually, um, Chris Sampson sent me something for the next set of Star Wars Unlimited, they have Obi-Wan from Clone Wars era as a leader. Yeah, I just need to say that to you to just sit there and watch you lose your mind. That's really what it was.
Hello there.
Exactly. So yeah, you're good to go. But anyway, I wanted to put that out there. The only reason I'm even somewhat interested in this is because for this random idea, I had a random idea that I'm going to play in the planetary qualifier, even though I really don't play this game that much, and I kind of
Wait,
created.
what?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm like, you know what? I'll just pick up the Sabine deck and I'll sit there and play in the planetary qualifier that's coming up in our store, and I think it's 2 weeks from today. Yeah, 2 weeks from today. I'm like, I mean, so I've been goldfishing it the deck because it's really like, for in all honesty, the game is, you can goldfish it really easy any of the decks that you play, simply because of the way the mechanics work. So I've been goldfishing that. I'm like, I think I can do this, and just, I mean, granted, okay, I'm not a novice to playing card games in general. I mean, I have played in the
It's
Pro Tour, so
Todd. Okay, I know this is now a Star Wars Unlimited podcast, but can we be real for a minute? It's just magic with some redux.
yeah,
Come on. Like, some of the mechanics literally just have different names, but they're lifted from magic. Now,
right,
there's a lot of improvements, I would say, because there's a few complaints I have about magic that I actually do think that this game does better than
yeah,
magic. But like literally, I can just lift a mechanic and be like, yeah, this is lifelink, yeah, this is trample, yeah, this is insert name here.
yes,
Like, come on.
exactly.
But I'm excited. I feel terrible, Todd. I still have the cards that I'm supposed to give to you to look through from Chris too, and they're like right there because I
I'm
haven't
not
looked through
worried
them
about
yet.
it. Like,
But
the funny thing is, like, I have all. I'm good. I'm good to go. But yeah, no. So
yeah.
all right. So what are we talking about Shatterpoint wise? I know you're
Oh,
running the show. What are we doing? I'm
yeah.
gonna
Okay.
try and keep you on track.
Yeah. That's the only thing you got to do. Well. First off, I wanted to check in. Have you managed to get any games in? Because I know you've been busy with the kids and with painting terrain and everything else going on. Have you
I
actually played any
actually,
games?
yeah. So I actually went out and played a game with Samson, and I took my stepson with me, and because he's like, at first he wanted to play Marvel, the Crisis Protocol, and then he saw me and Chris playing MCP or Shatterpoint, and he was like, okay, I might want to play Shatterpoint. I'm like, okay. So the next day we did a learning
Yeah.
game, but I ended up, the funny thing was, is I had all my stuff except for my character cards, so I had to
Oh,
sit there
oh
and play
no.
the entire game, and I was like keeping track of like the life and everything on the actual or not the order cards, but their trees, their stance cards, um because I
Okay.
didn't
All
actually
right.
have their character cards, and I was just using my phone to scroll through. So we played a really fun game. I don't. I walked away, and we said we won, but I'm not quite sure I did, because it's entirely possible that I just cheated because I didn't have all of my cards out there to sit there and play properly. But we had a fun time. So we went to the New Gamers Guild in North Phoenix, hung out. I had a couple of beers, which also might have added to me cheating, but we had a couple of beers there, hung out and had a good time. But it was fun. Like, I ordered a pizza and had a couple of drinks, and just hung out. Like, my oldest was like just kind of running around looking at everything and watching our game and kind of learning to play. So it was like he was learning as we were playing, and it was just it was fun. It was like kind of a casual game after the GT. So it was fun. I enjoyed it, and we had a good time.
Oh, that's really awesome. And hang on, Todd. Cheating is my thing. Okay, back off. I'm the only one who's allowed to cheat between the two of us on this podcast. Come on
Fair,
now.
fair
Come on.
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, but we'll allow it. We'll just remember. All right, anytime Todd forgets his cards, it means he's planning on cheating.
Hmm.
So you just got to keep him honest. So that's all right.
I
That's
might just be
okay.
going up to LVO without my cards. I'm just saying.
Wait, remind me. Are we playing in
No, I'm just
LVO?
like, after hours events. I might not have cards. That's all I'm saying. Like, if you want to hang out and play a game, I just might cheat. That's all.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, I've got one for you because I actually did one of my league games over at the OG Gamers Guild, meeting up with Fenwow. Fenwow?
Mhm.
Is that I don't know. Discord names get weird. Luis? Sorry if I'm getting your name wrong. So uh, the ADHD baby planned on taking notes on this game because it was a really great game. And then the ADHD baby forgot to take notes. So forgive me, any and all errors on this report are mine and mine alone, and I'll probably hear about it in Discord later. But I mean, I do remember the opening. So what happened was is okay. So thanks to some very fun guests that we had at the GT, I was able to obtain a copy of the alternate art Spectre cards. And so I decided for my next league game, or well, my next game in general, but I figured my league game was going to be my next opportunity. I have been hearing the Zi-Fi guys talk about, or at least one of them singing the praises of Hera, and so I wanted to try full specters,
Mhm.
even Zeb, like just full specters, because also
Nice.
I wanted to see all the shiny cards. Like, I mean, they're not actually shiny,
But
but
all
I
the
would.
wanted poster cards are really cool.
Yeah, no, they were super cool. And so and then Luis was playing Bounty Hunters. It was like Bounty Hunters all the way down. So it was the full Mando box as is, and then Cad Bane and the Bounty Hunters, but Django instead of Aura because, well, sorry,
Because
Aura,
aura.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we I set up terrain, we start playing, and the first card I rip is Shatterpoint, and I'm like, oh man. But then I realized something. So someone who shall remain nameless, Aubrey, set up the table where because we were playing Never Tell Me the Odds. I think that was what Luis wanted because I just want practice on all of them because I know like specters are better on sabotage, but you know you never know if you're going to play on sabotage. And I have been playing on shifting a lot just for muscle memory because it's easier for my brain. So we did Never Tell Me the Odds, and neither of us could get on one of our back objectives. Like it was like opposite. Like the way the terrain was, you couldn't quite deploy onto the building, and it forced your units to deploy back a little. And then we flipped over the one even card in Never Tell Me the Odds for Struggle One, the one that's like an X, where it's like
Mhm.
all the back points are on, and then the middle one, like it's not like any of the other cards. And both of us were not contesting one of the objectives because I messed it up.
I
So
don't think you messed it up. That sounds like you did it right, Aubrey. Like having bad terrain is good.
whatever. Anyway, but because I got my Shatterpoint card, I was like, well, this sucks to get it early, but I know Hera's really force intensive, and so like I didn't really want to put it back. And also, there's a lot of movement inspectors. So I was like, well, I'll just take Kanan. Kanan will run up to the middle objective, take that, and then I'll move Ezra up on like to actually be on the point with the other dash. And I'm like, all right, this is cool. Well, then I felt bad because the way that the rest of the struggle one went is it kind of turned into a bit. You know how usually in struggles 2 and 3, like if the same priority objective goes, you kind of get a big
Yeah.
mess of characters in one spot,
Mhm.
right? Well, that for some reason was happening with that middle point. Well, I guess it makes sense because everything's in the back, right?
Yeah.
Except one problem, and like I feel bad. I was able to take both back points because I drew my Shatterpoint card first. He was not because, like, I swear, whatever units he had on the side that he had, he just never drew them. Like I don't, it was like all the opposite side for like multiple turns. So like I pulled ahead and ended up winning the first struggle. Like Django goes down super fast because I think I like Django came up, tried to take Kanan off the point, and then I drew Kanan like my second or third activation again. And I'm like, all right, well, this is middle points mine. So we just had to keep fighting over it.
But I don't think that's bad. I mean, because that's one of those things where I think the idea of Shatterpoint is the terrain matters. So like having the terrain in a place where it's causing issues for both sides is great. Yes, you found a way to do it, but I mean, was there may have been an opportunity for him to do something that was just maybe a little bit different or outside of the normal realm that he needed to do. I mean, was it like instead of, oh, I have everybody on this side, can I jump and move to get onto that point and put somebody on the opposite side of the board? So it's an exercise in like thinking about a different way to approach the problem. And I think that's something that, we've talked about, I think, like in a couple of in context in different contexts over the course of other things, like again talking like going back to like tiebreakers, looking at different ways to sit there and deal with that issue. But I mean, this is another one of those where it might have not had an obvious solution, but maybe there was something he could have done in the game that could have got him to take that point earlier that would have put him in a better position. I don't know, like looking at it or thinking about it, like looking at in retrospect, what do you think there might have been something he could have done?
I mean, thinking back, and again, I apologize. I should have taken more detailed notes, but I didn't. If I recall right, I remember having an instinct at one point where I was like, well, if he did this, maybe he could get on to that point. But it was kind of at that point, I think I had just gotten enough of an advantage because I was also first player, right? So like I went first and was on the middle objective, and so I think he rightfully chose to respond to that. And I think just like my order deck was lining up just right enough that I think he was right in still trying to get at that middle objective with what was going on, but I mean, like there was one time where I was like, well, if he did this, maybe he could take that objective. I think it was more of a like you wanted your turns to be impactful because like you went with Mando pretty early too, and like you don't want to just take Mando and go take some back objective and you didn't do anything. Like Mando's really good at dealing with Kanan, because like Kanan and Ezra were buddies for most of this game. And I'll tell you right now, like to kind of jump ahead a little bit, just so you get a feel for what was happening. I had to attack the Mandalorian so many times, and I hated every single time I did it, Todd.
Did it hurt your soul a little bit? Is that what's going on here?
Because no one wants to attack the Mandalorian. But remember, I had already Shatterpointed and I had already gone with Kanan. So I
Mm.
didn't have access to my force push. And so I kept having to use shoves to deal with the Mandalorian. And have you seen his defensive expertise, Todd? Have you seen it?
I heard it's pretty good.
Oh my god.
I don't
And
know.
and so like this game basically turned into, as we're going into struggles 2 and 3, a game of whack-a-mole with the Mandalorian. I was trying to squish a green baby, and it was not working.
That sounds
Oh,
unfortunate for you.
well. So I mean, like spoilers when we get to the end. Like here's where. All right, Sci-Fi. I know they're Zion's finest and Sci-Fi's their invitational. I don't know. I like calling them Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi fans, I am a Hera truther because to jump to the end of the game, oh, I did accidentally tactical and Hera shenanigans in one turn, Todd.
Nice.
So
So you
I
combined Zion's finest and Momentous struggle into one to win the game. I like it.
yeah, okay. So what happened was is the way the objectives fell in struggle 3, because we had a pretty fast struggle 2 where he just like he like both options, if I remember right, were great for him. Like it was, do you want platinum or diamond? Oh no. Which one would you like? So struggle 2 just poof, like I was just not even in. I'm pretty sure at one point I scored 0 in struggle 2. Like 0. That's how
That's
bad struggle.
impressive. Very
That's how
impressive.
bad struggle 2 was. And so we get into struggle 3, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know if this is gonna go well because I had to like turtle up on a point. I had Hera, Sabine, and Chopper all on one point on one of those the fractured city square buildings. Like I had to put all 3 of them up there to keep him from getting somebody on there. And then he was like one after the other. Wound Chopper, wound Sabine. Hera's now like by her, or no, he did get IG 11, I think, up on there, and then I had to send Hera over 2 to knock IG back off of it and be up there and be like, no, this is mine. No, you can't have it. And then like Cad came over and was doing some right. So this was the key moment. All right, I'm jumping back ahead of myself. We still follow it? Are you still following me, Todd?
I don't think I am, but it's all right. Well, we'll just go with it. I'll just smile and nod.
The point is on the other side of the map, Ezra and Kanan were playing whack-a-mole with the Mandalorian. That's what happened on the whole other side of the map. The bounty hunters were, I don't know, having drinks over with Zeb. They became buddies. You know that Zeb guy.
Yeah, I mean, going to some pub in the middle of friggin' the desert is always a good time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I should know. We live in Arizona.
Well, and making friends with the enemy, that's his thing. Yeah. So they're over there. So Cad comes over and tries to take Hera off the point, but I had earlier in the game, I had kind of like when I moved, I had moved her over to take IG-11 off, and then I kind of had to do this wimpy attack into Cad, but I put a pin and a disarm on him, which was pretty key for this moment because he has to go with Cad. And he tries to do the "why don't you step aside?" And I'm like, what's my answer to that always, Todd? What do I always say?
I don't know. I've been drinking.
Oh my God. I never run, even when I should.
That is true.
Anyway,
you're too stubborn for that.
But it was a bluff because he was disarmed. Well, actually, it was funny. Hera was of course exposed from the ability, and he was disarmed. So both of our rolls were terrible. so both of our rolls were bad. And then I get the so I had attacked with Hera, moved off IG-11. He attacked with Cad. That's right. I attacked because there was a lot of Hera activation going on here. Like it was like I'm pretty sure I must have Shatterpointed her because then I had to figure out what I was doing with because I got on her tree far enough to use I got a free activation of her ability, the "We Will Not Stand Down" ability, the Healy one that wakes somebody up. And while I had been doing all of this skirmishing over here, I had moved Zeb because he was the only character that mattered for moving. I had 3 over here. Kanan and Ezra were staring down Mando on another point, like they couldn't move. And Zeb was hanging out with the bounty hunters, not doing anything. Well, the bounty hunters went off because they were drinking. And Zeb's like, well, I'm going to follow him. So I moved him over. Well, then I got the free "We Will Not Stand Down," which gives you the it wakes, because Zeb was wounded. Zeb was down.
Yeah.
So I was able to wake him up, follow the bounty hunters, get up on a point. Then I rip. What card did I rip? So then because then we did a reshuffle. So then I ripped Kanan. And I realized because I followed the bounty hunters with Zeb and woke him up with Hera, because at first that didn't do anything. Like Django was wounded, but over there, the bounty hunters were on that back point. Like nothing was going, like me moving Zeb and waking him up did nothing at first. But then I ripped Kanan and it became academic because all I had to do was either go over there and do like 2 points of damage to the bounty hunters and then hop down on the point. Or if for some reason that attack failed, that's right, only one bounty hunter was actually contesting the objective. The other one was a little bit off. It was like he was up on a building. So if I didn't wound the bounty hunters, I could then just force push Django off, stick Kanan on the objective, and it was done. But the only reason I had like both options is because Hera's "We Will Not Stand Down" went, no, Zeb, you need to sober up. Stop drinking with the bounty hunters. We got a job to do. We got a job. And just, oh my God, it felt so good. It was insane. And it all started because I was like, well, I can't move anybody else. Zeb's wounded. I'm probably only going to go 2 or 3 down Hera's tree. We're just going to move him over to hang out with the bounty hunter still, because that's what he's been doing the whole game. You just follow your buddies. And nope, one on the spot. Like that was the whole thing. Like, and I was
nice.
like, whoa. whoa, Hera. I I still have no idea if I played her well or correctly at all, but like she kept Cad down, and Cad's really good, and I'm pretty sure there was somewhere where I could have failed if it weren't for her ability, but whoa. Oh, that was cool. Very cool. There you go. There's story time with Aubrey.
Yeah, no, I mean that was sounds like it was a fun game for sure. I mean, and that's I think the biggest key to like I think going back to like where we started the entire conversation was it was a fun game that like ended up having this really cool moment, which is kind of what AMG wants us to have. I mean, yes, you can go and play in all their different GTs and everything like that, but having those cool moments where you have a game is really what like their aim is for, and that's what happened for you, which is awesome.
Yeah, and Fen played great. Like it's not like you could tell. Like I know like because we were talking back and forth, and like people would come over and want to talk to us about the terrain because there was a lot of people there playing. It was a Tuesday night over at Gamers Guild when they were packed. Like they're just packed. And like so we had like a Legion and X-Wing player come over and want to talk to us about the game. So like it was very just relaxed. We're having a good time, and so like Fen, he clearly knew his stuff was Shatterpoint. Not saying he didn't. Like I think he was playing very well, but he had like taken a break. It seemed like, and he was focusing on other games, and now he was coming back to Shatterpoint maybe after a little hiatus. But I mean, we were having a great time. The bounty hunters, like I loved his list. I mean, if y'all are feeling scoundrelly and you can't wait, 3 more weeks until that bounty hunter squad pack comes out, I would say and try that. Like it was fun. I had fun playing against it. I think he had fun playing against me. IG-11 and Grief, they they were holding their own. I know some people are kind of down on those
Yeah.
two, but I I mean, it seemed pretty good to me. Like
I think anything, like I said, like everyone, especially like if you listen to the other podcasts, they're going to focus on the most optimal list. Is IG-11 and Grief probably the most optimal thing to do when you're looking at like four squads worth? Maybe not. Can you sit there and do some really cool stuff and have some fun playing those two? Without a doubt. I mean, I think that's kind of like at the end of the day, that's kind of like the thing that we look at is, are you having fun playing it? Then who cares what the podcasts are saying or what people are saying on Reddit or whatever. Just have fun playing whatever you're playing, man.
right. Like there was one moment where, like I said, I had all these models who were wounded all up on this building, and like the biggest problem was is that like I like the one like it's not even a mistake, just an unfortunate thing is that IG-11 can't target the same character with his double attack. Like if he had been able to just double attack Hera with his ability, Hera would have gone down and I probably would have lost. Like that's how close the game was. Like it was basically came down to because IG-11 couldn't do that, and then I had managed to disarm Cad right before he came up. The game probably would have gone Fen's way. Like
Hmm.
that's how close it was, which I think is a good sign,
Yeah,
right?
without a doubt. I mean, like, being able to have that kind of that one moment can change the outcome of the game is like I think one of the coolest things about Shatterpoint, where you play to that you play to that one moment. Where it's like, okay, I'm going to play to this point where I can win or lose based off of what that final activation is going to be. And I think that's one of the things that I think we kind of need to realize is like depending on no matter what level you're playing at. I mean, you're playing to like how do I win that very last activation that I need to win.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So again, great game. Thank you, Fen. I had a great time. Like I'm looking forward to my next league game. I mean, I don't know when I'm gonna figure that out, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Well, the funny thing about the league is like this league that we're running is like it was kind of just an experiment to see how many people would show up and how many games are going to happen. I really hope that like most people are able to get like all of their games in and everything along those lines. But I mean, it was more along the lines of, "Hey, let's just see what happens. We'll throw this, throw it against the wall and see what sticks," type of a thing. And I think it went well. I think like everybody like locally just wants to sit there and get more games of Shatterpoint in, and no matter what happens. So I'm excited for it. I know we have plans to sit there and, because I run, like I said, the MCP State Championship Series. I have plans for probably after LVO, like starting up a Arizona State Championship Series, like working with all of the stores, because we have a ton of stores within the valley, of just starting locally within Arizona or within the city of Phoenix and maybe Tucson. Maybe we can get like one of the stores down there involved in it. Their community is pretty, needs a little bit of help, and I'm willing to give them a little nudge to sit there and drive down there and play in some tournaments if I need to do like one tournament a month or one tournament a year down there, and just to kind of build up the state championship series, or and the future of that for Shatterpoint in Arizona, which would be cool, kind of cool, I think.
Yeah, and I bet Mr. E down in Maricopa would be interested in it too. So that's another,
Mhm.
because they've got a pretty good slew of players that are doing Shatterpoint down there. I mean, hey, small but mighty. I grew up in Fernley, Nevada, and if the one person listening to us knows where that is, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for you. Whew, whew. So hey, it's baby steps, baby steps. Again, we haven't even made it to year 2, right? We're still in
Right.
the second year of the game, or I mean, the end of year 2, end of year 2.
Yeah, I think we're in a good place. I mean, like we're looking at Adepticon was a really good event. I mean, I think they came up a little short of 64 for that event. In general, just like, which is normal, like people don't show up and everything like that. Um, Looking at LVO, I mean, we had 64 people with 64 tickets available. That sold out super fast, like in like what, 8 days. So I think we're in a good place where the game is starting to grow, and I think it's going to continue to grow. And I think we're in a good place. We're gonna continue to do good things. Is at least what I'm thinking is going to happen.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. So Todd, is it time, since we're talking about the future of the game? Do you want to talk about our next topic?
You can
Are you
jump in
ready?
there.
Hmm.
I know you want to talk about this, so go for it, Aubrey. What do you got?
All right, all right. So this is more of me just kind of I don't want to say summarizing, but uh doing a little bit more theory crafting, and maybe just starting a conversation with the people who maybe aren't in our Discord, which you should be. It's free. And it kind of moved, I guess I shouldn't say that, cuz it did kind of move between the patron part of our Discord and the non-patron part of our Discord. It gets a little loosey goosey in
Yeah,
there.
the conversation like bounced between the two places. So if you weren't part of our Patreon, like you're like, okay, I'm kind of following this conversation, but I don't really follow the conversation. So it's okay.
That's why I'm bringing it up. But what happened is that Todd asked, our patrons, because well, you're working on a project, and it was basically like, if you could ask AMG some questions, what would you want to ask them, kind of a thing. And so, but one of the things that came up was like, are there any mechanics that are not currently in Shatterpoint that you would like to see? And if so, what would they be? And like, to start things off, as an example, just as a little example. Okay, maybe it's a big example. So one of the most iconic things that, like, as a kid, the fight on Cloud City with Darth Vader. And like, at first you're like, oh man, Luke's kind of holding his own. Like, I was expecting Luke to kind of get his teeth kicked in. This is the big bad, as we were soon to learn, big bad Daddy Vader. Oh wait, spoilers. Is it too soon?
That was like 40 years ago. No, it's not. It's not too
uh,
soon.
and so, like, when Luke like kicks him and knocks him off the carbonite chamber platform, and he like disappears, and Luke's like looking, like Luke is almost like on the hunt for Vader. You're like, wait a minute, what? Like what? And then the next scene happens, and Vader doesn't even fight him. He just starts chucking the room at Luke until he, as the kids would say, yeets him out of window. Yeah, I did that. I did
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
The one person under the age of 30 that's listening to us just turned off. It's fine. It's fine.
it's all
All
right.
right. And so so what one of the mechanics that I would love, and I am not a game designer. I have no idea how this would work. Todd keeps telling me it won't work, but you could do it in MCP, Todd, and I really like it in MCP. Would be some sort of like terrain deconstruction. And maybe it's too hard to do like the buildings, like stuff that's like range 2 and above, like the stuff we climb on. But like if you could like just be able to like pick up like scatter terrain and just chuck it with the force, like I mean, Obi-Wan does it in the Obi-Wan show. Like Vader does it back to him. Uh, like again, I mean, it's kind of a Vader thing. So I like. Wait, do I want a Vader, Todd?
Yeah, you want a
Oh
Vader.
no.
Is it really like? Here's the thing: you really are just wanting to be part of the dark side, Aubrey. You just don't realize it because you really want to be an Obi-Wan truther, but it doesn't work that way, Aubrey. You want to come to the dark side. It's okay.
I
Just
mean,
give in.
I do get
Give
it.
in to your feelings, Aubrey. Let go. Let go and just give in to the hate. It's okay.
So like and again, I don't know how this would work. And obviously, you can't spend a 30 minutes or however long it takes setting up your table and then knocking over gantries and tearing down buildings. And like I'm not saying exactly like MC, because like in MCP, for those of you if you haven't played it, and I have like one game under my belt, but like when when they destroy a building, it's gone, right, Todd? Like that's always
Yeah.
gone. Like they pick it up, they throw it, and it is done, right?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so in MCP, basically, like people have the ability to sit there and pick up a piece of terrain and throw it. And what the way the rules are written is it destroys that piece of terrain, so it is completely removed from the game. And whatever size that piece of terrain is gets thrown. And that's kind of the problem that I think you're going to run into is so like in MCP, the mechanics from the start happened out where terrain is dictated based off of a number system where it's like 1 through 5, and like you can throw depending on the character, like Hulk can pick up a piece of terrain that's a size 4, again going 1 2 3 4 all the way up to 5, so he can throw basically anything on the table. And that's I think the biggest problem you're going to run into with Shatterpoint is what can and can't certain characters throw. Are we looking at, well, does it start at size 2, like anything below size 2 they can throw? It's a weird game design problem. Like I think it would be very cool, don't get me wrong, I think it would be amazing to sit there and be able to have that, but like where the games and how the game rules were written, I don't know if it's going to be something that can actually happen. Sorry to burst your bubble.
But Todd, I like throwing rocks.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
know,
just
I
want to throw
know.
a rock. And so that's and again, I don't like I would want it to be more restricted because I know in MCP you pretty much can throw anything, right? Like if you have the right characters.
If you have the right character, yeah, you can kind of throw anything. Some are designed to only like size 2, only size 3. Like you take out like Hulk. Hulk can throw basically anything except for a gigantic building. Like other than like a couple pieces of terrain that may or even that typically are not even on the table. Anything on the table, Hulk can throw is really what it comes down to. So, and I think that's one of those things where it's like, but the game was initially designed with that aspect in mind of like, okay, you're going to have somebody who's going to come in and throw something, where Shatterpoint hasn't been designed that way. So like trying to add that mechanic in is going to be difficult, I think.
Yeah. And maybe this is a pipe dream. This is why this is just, hey, what would be something you like that's fun? Come and tell us in the Discord. Like Todd, if you were going to introduce, because I've got more, but I want to, I know I'm running the show here. Oh boy, you let the ADHD baby drive the bus. But like, if there's what is something you haven't seen yet that you would like to see? Because I've got a couple more. I've got more, but what's something you want to see?
No, I mean, and I think I'm right there with you with like throws, like a way to do like a force choke would be amazing. Like again, I'm a dark side guy, so like a way for like to do like if you're within range 3, you pay 2 force and are able to sit there and like choke somebody for 3 damage or something like that,
Yes.
I think would be really cool. So that would
Yeah.
be my thing, where it's like the force choke was always like such a cool ability, but being able to have something like that built into a character, again, that would probably be like Vader, especially like
We need a third Vader. Okay,
we
got
do.
it.
We need another Vader. But I mean, you could add like you could add in Palpatine as a or
Mhm.
he could be. But there's definitely some characters that can sit there and have a force choke in them. I think something like that would be really cool.
Yeah. Another one. Now I know on Dooku's card, his ranged attack is Force Lightning, right? Because
Hmm.
I'm just talking off the cuff here, but it would be awesome. And again, I know it's going to be hard to add like Yoda and Palpatine because this game is. I think this game does a pretty good job of being fairly balanced between the characters. The worst character, minus maybe Aura Singh and 501st, don't feel that far off from the best characters. Like, yes, there's obvious things that could be tweaked, but you never feel like you just clubbing baby seals.
Hmm.
And so, like, I don't know how Yoda and Palpatine would work exactly. And maybe I know they've talked about like the super boss gameplay that we're going to be getting eventually, and maybe that's what they're saving them for.
Yeah,
Um,
that's an ultimate encounter is like an ultimate alternate play style. But you still so the thing with like those particular games is that the character still exists already in the game. There's just a super powered version of them. So it's like we don't want to
uh,
start with like a super powered version and be like, how do we dumb them down? Is that I think the biggest
oh,
issue.
okay. All right. All right. Well, but anyway, my point that I was getting at is even though Force Lightning was used on Dooku's combat tree, it would be so cool to see. Like could we get our first like 3 Force ability and maybe like Palpatine brings like I don't know 5 Force or something crazy and like he gets to like just directly deal damage to a character like that. That's another one. Like Force
You know,
Lightning is very iconic.
so what will be really cool, kind of going down the tree of Force Lightning is they do Force Lightning. It's a Force ability where it does like maybe like 3 damage to like the target character, and then any character within like a range 2 or 3 bubble takes an additional damage or something along those lines. That would be kind of neat to sit there and do something along those lines.
Right, right. And hopefully like I know it gets weird cuz like now we're getting into design territory and if I get too specific, they don't get to
Then
use it
Plumber's gonna
and
sit there and be like, I'm gonna stop listening to you guys. You guys suck. Stop
right.
whatever. Yeah, but yeah.
Right, right, right. But like okay, so like here's another one. So we again, and this is not like the genesis. I didn't come up with this idea. Somebody else was talking about like what boxes they would want. It was Jerry, right, who was talking about like the son, the mother, and
Yes.
or not the mother, the son, the daughter, and the father from
Hmm.
the Mortis arc in
Yep.
Clone Wars. Um, and so like we were riffing on ideas of what their abilities would be, and I was coming up with the idea of it would be cool like we have the take another unit, dash them, and make a 5 dice attack, and it's always your team.
Yeah.
Well, what if you could, you know, mind trick someone? Because like in Jedi Survivor, when you mind trick someone, they actually fight for you for a brief amount of time in the game, which is cool. And like if you could take control of an enemy unit, maybe the dash is too strong because then like you're able to like move them off an objective, but maybe it's just wherever they're standing they can make a 5 dice attack because I think it would be way too strong if it was like dash your enemy character, you choose the movement and make a 5 dice attack, but it could be interesting.
Well, what if it was something like, and I don't think you want to make it too powerful, but what if it was something like not even a dash, but a target character within, I don't know, range 3? You choose that character, roll 5 attack dice for every crit and expertise. You end up doing a damage to that character.
Oh, stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. I like the dad vibe of that one. Like that would be cool. Like I think we have some space for abilities where like I just want to see more of the force ability, because like I know a lot of people in the community, they love the bounty hunters, they like the, like I was listening to Hello There's, I think it's either their latest episode or the episode behind, and Amon and Jesse, they talk about the appeal of the bounty hunters, like why are they appealing, and it's because they they kind of represent like you're a regular person in this world of magic space wizards, and you just trying to get gas in your ship to get to the next place. Like very when I was listening to them, because again, this is them, like this is, that was their conversation, but it made me think of Firefly,
Yeah,
and like that show, and like you're just trying to earn a living in this world. But sorry, I love the Jedi and the Sith. They're my jam. I love the Jedi and the Sith, and so like I just want to see more, like showcase more of like that moment in Kenobi where Vader grabs the ship and pulls it back. Like, oh, I just, like they're doing such a good job. AMG, thank you. You've done such a good job of like capturing the feel of like Clone Wars and Rebels, and I just want you to lean into it even more. Like just keep going. Like
I can see that.
please.
I can see that. I mean, and it's the nice thing about it is they've given us so much content wise. Like there's so much, like Disney's given us enough content, and like and the devs and all of the people that are at AMG have just like taken that amazing content and kind of ran with it. And it'll be interesting to see them explore, if they have the ability to kind of explore, like going down a different road and seeing what else is available. So I don't know. We'll see what they can do. I mean, I'm excited to see if some of those things could happen. I don't know. I mean, but I also look at like where Marvel is now versus where Marvel was at year 2, and kind of how that game has evolved to where it is now. I mean, we're only a year and a half in, not even 2 years in, and they're still just kind of scratching the surface of like where they were in a with Marvel. And so I think there's a lot of great things that could definitely happen with this game, and we just need to wait and see what happens. I think, knowing that Michael Plummer, being the lead dev that he is, he I think he has great plans, and I trust that AMG will sit there and do some amazing things with this game. And I'm not I'm not hesitant to sit there and see what they're going to do. I think there's going to be some great things.
You're you're so patient, Todd. All right, ADHD baby is still in charge. I got one more. I got one more. You're so patient. Yeah, yes, and yes, game development takes time. And reminder, everybody, like, do you know how long these games can take? Okay, I know the competitive kids out there, you can get a game done in like an hour flat. Boom, 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 done, done, done. Some of us, it takes a little longer, especially if you get distracted in the middle of your game and someone starts talking to you. Maybe during deployment, Todd, when you're trying to deploy
Well,
your
that's your
rebel
fault. Don't even
commandos.
start trying to blame me. You're the one who doesn't know how to put your play doesn't know how to deploy properly.
Whatever. Anyway, so my uh so I got one more for you. So I know I don't want, like, I don't want to like turn this game into Legion or anything, because I know Legion has like the ATSTs and the vehicles and the other stuff. But one of again, to talk about a completely different thing, but one of my favorite scenes in The Force Awakens is when they're on the planet talking to Maz. Maz has Anakin's lightsaber,
Hmm.
and then the First Order shows up, but then the X-wings come flying over and just start doing that bombardment, and Poe's doing all that cool stuff. And like, I just, it would be cool to incorporate some more of like the vehicles and like aerial bombardments and like the Star Destroyers attacking from space. Cause, and I know they're doing it a little bit. Like if you look at General Veers and his ability that comes out, like that's clearly supposed to be mimicking like an AT-AT, like maximum firepower
Yeah.
attacking the ground around an objective. And it would be like, I was expecting that to be a tactics card, and it's fine that it's not. Like they actually, if it still feels like that's what you're doing, And
Mhm.
so like I like my last wish list would be like just more like I want to have that moment where like the X-wings come flying in or the TIE bombers come flying in and like they do a quick hit and move on. Like I just and like Star Destroyer bombardments. We have still only rarely like seen that in even media, and that's supposed to be like, at least in Legends, like that's a big deal. Like the Star Destroyers were designed to fly low over a planet and just demolish a place. I don't know why the Emperor needed the Death Star. The Star Destroyers were already terrifying when you read like the stories about what they were capable of doing. Um,
So you're
I
talking about the end of Bad Batch season 1.
Oh yeah. Well, like again, we've only seen it so rarely. Yes, that absolutely yes. That's what I'm talking about. I couldn't remember. I knew it was in one of the newer Disney shows. I couldn't remember. Camino. That's right. Aw, poor Camino.
They're clones. It doesn't
Thank.
matter anyway. They're just,
Oh wow! What about the Kaminoans?
eh,
The little
they are
their little
disposable.
heads.
The only thing we really cared about was their technology. It really doesn't matter them. We took their
Wow.
technology. It doesn't matter. Just kill them. It's fine.
Wow. So just stuff like that I think would I don't know. I want some spice. I want some more spice. But you know what? Todd tells me I have to be patient.
Yeah,
I
and I
have to be
think that one's a
patient.
little even more difficult though. I mean, because it's this is a skirmish game, so it's harder. I mean, like the closest thing I can think of, like again going back to Marvel, there's this really cool card, like one-off ability that Tony Stark has. Is called Helios Laser Bombardment, where Tony Stark can sit there and like take
Ooh.
all of the power from anybody that is on his team that's not dazed and pump it into this giant laser that shoots from outside of the atmosphere on one particular character and just does you roll all the dice depending on how many power you spend. So I think you could probably find something like that that could potentially work where it's like maybe you spend up to X force to add dice to an attack, and depending on that, again, it's like going back to if you roll crits and hits, it does that much damage type of a thing. So again, this is all going into game design stuff that I have no expertise in whatsoever. So,
right, right. I'm not even trying to give you competitive Shatterpoint advice. Now I'm trying to give you game design advice. I'm a librarian. I know not like I've read a little bit of game theory. I'm not. I like this is like me going, well, I've read half of a book about it and now I'm an expert. No.
right.
I'm sure the experts are working on different things
Oh
like
yeah.
this. I just kind of got excited. The conversation in Discord really got me thinking about, well, what would make this feel more Star Warsy to me, because it already does.
Yeah, and I think that's the kind of the fun of it though, is like that amateur game design piece of it, where it's like, I mean, and I don't say that in a bad way. I don't mean it to come off as in a bad way, but it's like that thing where it's like, dude, it'd be really cool as if they did this. And it's like for me, it's like, yeah, that'd be really cool. But how can you actually make that work in the framework of the game? So it's like for me, it's like,
Mhm.
yes, that's cool, that piece of it, but it's like, what's the next step? Like where it's like, I look at the flaws of it, where it's like, yeah, that's really cool. It won't work because of these different rules that are already in place. But what if we did this instead? And I think that's kind of the fun part about like the rules, like and kind of like taking that amateur side of it, where it's like, dude, this would be cool. How can we make that work? And I think that's the fun of like the game in general, is like looking at, man, like can they do this, and waiting for the designers to sit there and see what's next. I mean, that's one of the great things about like these particular games that AMG makes, is where it's like there's a box coming out. What is the next thing that they're going to give us is really cool, that we can sit there and have to sit there and play around with.
Oh yeah. That's and here's the thing. You know what's great. We have so much stuff already, because I'm feeling a little bit of the hurt. Like I'm working on a very very quickly a refinance on our house because the mortgage rates went down, and I'm not going to go into any detail, but I'm over here going, I kind of need to like hold off on buying these boxes that are coming out soon because I need to focus on this real world problem. And then I was like, oh wait, I have like 50 models already. Like, calm down, Aubrey. You can still play with the stuff you already have. Like, stop being like, ooh, shiny new toy, shiny new toy. Like, no, I have. I
And
I can see
that's a
them. They're right there.
but that's a great point about like the game in general is like we always get like drawn into the cool new thing, whereas like man, like why don't we just take the time to sit there and perfect how we play this particular model? Like it's like I even like going back to like talking to Samson, it's like he loves playing Dooku Grievous. And it's like those
Mhm.
are launch models. Like those are like the first 3 months of the game. But he loves playing them and he's very good at playing them. And it's like one of those where it's like maybe sometimes we need to think about how to play the stuff that's already there and how to play those to the best of our abilities.
So what you're telling me is ADHD baby needs to focus more. Okay, all
That's
right.
not going to
Well, I'll
happen.
get right on
I
that.
know better. That you're just going to be like, oh look, there's a cat. Yeah, it's all right. It's okay. Squirrel.
Yeah. So I guess bottom line, like I guess the message of today, since I'm the one in charge, is just think about ways to have fun. Like make this fun. Like it's easy to be super competitive, and maybe because I already had my GT and got my experience and I
You
got all
got
my
you
cool
you were top 8 in the
cards.
GT. You're like, I'm good. I don't need to do it anymore. Yeah, I got it.
I squeaked in. I squeaked in. But regardless, it's just it's I don't want us to forget that we're supposed to be having fun, and I was having a lot of fun today talking to everybody on Discord about all these different ideas, and I wanted to share with everybody else because I know not everyone pays attention. Hey, I can't even keep up. I'm in Red Mando's Discord, and of course they're in Australia, so like the time is almost flipped. Like they're a day ahead of us, and so like I'll wake up sometimes it'll be like 100 new notifications, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm reading all that. That's a lot. I don't know if I have time for
It's
that.
hard to
Sorry,
keep
guys.
up with Discords. It is. It's like it's funny. It's like I was going back to Sarah Cruel. He's like, I don't want to sit there and become a patron just because that's another Discord they have to keep up with. I'm like, I get it. It's like that's a lot of it's a lot of work because it's like, and I'm in a lot like it's because of what I do with MCP and Shatterpoint. It's like I'm in a lot of Discords. It's like yeah, I get it. There's just some Discords that I just don't even bother dealing with. It's like, yeah, I'll get the notifications and they just sit there. So it's like, no, it's a rough life.
There's 2 or 3 Discords that like I stay in because I want to be able to communicate with some of the people that are in there, even though I don't do it very often. But I fully have them on mute. Like I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just don't have I don't have the bandwidth. And
Right.
so it's one of those things where like I get it. Like the again, hey, shout out. If you haven't listened to Red Mandos, uh get a meal cuz it's like 3 hours long. Do it over a spread. Like go for a walk to the next town over. I don't know how you're going to get it done. But they're great. They're a lot of fun to listen to. But like one of the things that they were talking about was just the fact that the ADHD
He
thing's
lost.
kicking in. Dang it. They
You
were
lost it. Oh, he's there. It went. It was in his
Oh,
mind. I
see
saw it. I saw
see
the light flicker away. It's amazing. But
no.
no, I would
Oh.
say overall their podcast is amazing. Winter and
You know
Tom
what?
are
We'll just go
great.
with that.
Yeah,
We'll go with
Tim and
that. I don't
Winter,
remember what I was
give
saying.
them a shot if you haven't listened to them
Yeah.
because they are good. It might take you a while to get through to it.
Dang it.
I mean, I would say this: like when I'm listening to them, it's usually on the day that I'm in the office, and I just sit there and put it on play, close the office door, and I'm working in the office doing like other stuff. But it's great that they are good content to sit there and listen to. It might just take you a little time to get through it. Oh,
Dang it.
you're still
I have
trying to
no
think
idea what
through
that
it. Yeah, you know,
I don't know
you
what that
lost it.
point was.
You lost it.
Okay,
It's great.
I think that might be time to call it, Todd, because
It
if
is.
I'm losing my thread, I think we talked too long. We don't want this to be 3 hours.
No, we
That
don't.
might be time.
All right. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to let you close out the episode, Aubrey. Go ahead and give us the closeout.
Wait, I have to
Yeah,
remember what you say?
No, yeah, go
Oh
for it.
no.
Here,
Oh
I'm putting it
no.
on you.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. The most Shatterpoint thing you can do. Oh no. wait. That's rogue support. That's rogue support, isn't it? Oh,
Yeah,
okay. All right.
that's wrong. Like, I
Uh
know you're
let's
channeling your inner Omnis and being like, the most Shatterpoint thing I can do is
yeah, is remember the ending to my own podcast. No,
that is
let's
it.
see.
Yes, that is true.
How does Zion's Finest? I feel like Zion's Finest is like a hug. Like Kenny is like, oh, you're also. I love you all. Okay. No, so not Zion's Finest. Let's go. We got the cool music from Hello There. No, that's not it. Red Mandos are usually. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, all right. Sorry. Ours is. Thank you everyone for listening, and as always, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you.